Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the difference between good debt and bad debt. I know when it comes to like managing money, debt can be usually a touchy subject to get into. You got guys like Dave Ramsey who believe in all debt is bad debt, unless you're looking to purchase a home. And then you got guys like Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone who believe that leveraging debt is a great way to build wealth. So regardless of which side of the fence that you sit on, I'm sure we can all agree that there are good ways and bad ways to handle debt depending on your financial goals. So in this video, I just wanted to go over a couple of things that differentiates between the difference between good debt and bad debt. So a lot of people will tell you that when it comes to like debt, good debt is many would consider good debt as debt that puts money in your pocket. Right, and bad debt would be considered that would be taking money out of your pocket. Right. So a few examples of, let's say, good debt. So like a mortgage to buy a rental property. Right. Obviously, the mortgage itself is a liability, but obviously, if you're buying a rental property, you're getting a mortgage on a property that's going to help get you rental income, and hopefully, it's showing a positive cash flow. So, in the end of it, you're actually making money with that debt. So, a lot of people, obviously, when it comes to building wealth, they take that leverage of a mortgage to acquire a rental property that's going to help them build cash flow. Right. Another one is a business loan. Now, I'm usually like, when it comes to like taking out business loans, I'm really cautious about that, because obviously when it comes to businesses, like 99% of businesses fail. So it's hard for me to just be like, take out a loan for a business when there's a high risk of your business failing. I'm the type of person, when it comes to building a business, you want to make sure you build the business with the least amount of money as possible and scale that business up as you go. Now, once it starts cash flowing and you have a substantial, you have a history of it making money, then if you want to take on a loan, then that's fine. But a lot of people, when it comes to starting a business, they don't have the capital, so they take on a loan. But it's really risky, because if your business doesn't make money, then you still owe that loan. So me personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but obviously that if you're someone that's looking to start a business and you don't have a lot of capital, getting a business loan is a great way to go. Another one is obviously education. Now, this is also touchy as well, because we live in a society right now where there's so many people with student loan debt, and that's obviously due to the fact that the major that the degree that they majored in when in college didn't really net them the job that they want, that was going to make them a lot of money. So I think if you're going to go to school to become a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, then obviously that education is going to benefit you in the long run. But if you're getting some regular liberal arts degree and you're going to spend $100,000 to do it, that's probably not the most sensible thing to do when it comes to taking on debt. But I think a lot of people get caught up in that education thing, and I got to get a degree to get a good job, and then they find out when they graduate that they're not even in a job. They're not even a job related to their degree. That myself, I'm an example of that. I was an example of that. I had to graduate with an economics degree, but I wasn't doing anything when it comes to economics. So I think when it comes to education, I think taking out debt to provide education is a very important thing, but it depends on the type of education you're going to get. Okay, so you want to make sure you're strategic with the type of education you're pursuing, because you want to make sure it's a skill that's going to provide you a very high earning income. Once you get out, once you're done with the education. So those are the three things. So usually getting a mortgage for a rental property, a business loan, or a loan for education. Those are like usually good debts. Now, bad debts obviously would be a car loan, right? Because obviously cars are depreciating assets. Once you drive the car off the lot, it depreciates. It's less valuable than when you bought it. So obviously, when you want to buy a car, it's in a high expense. So obviously, a lot of people don't probably have the money to purchase the car outright. But for me, I purchased my car $10,000, boom, cash. Because I didn't want any payments on that, because obviously what's the point of taking out a loan on the car that's not going to, earn you any income? It's a depreciating asset. It's not making you any money. But obviously for a lot of people that, that's what they need to do. But that would be a bad debt, because obviously you're paying interest on that. And usually car payments are usually anywhere from I think the average, car payment is like $400 a month. So that would be a bad debt. You know, if you can avoid doing it, do it. But if you can't, then you got to do what you got to do. Another one would be credit card debt. It's probably the worst kind of debt. Because if you're taking a credit card and you're carrying a balance over from 1 month to the next month, then you're going to pay a heavy interest rate. All right, anywhere from 18% to 24%. All right, and that makes no sense financially. A lot of people are doing that, of course, when it comes to like credit card debt. You want to make sure that you can avoid that at all costs, because you're basically giving that credit card company a 18% return on their money. Imagine if you had a stock portfolio or asset that was making 80% returns on your money. You'd be rich in no time. So you want to make sure you avoid that, because that's bad debt. That's the worst kind of debt, because if you're paying the minimum payment on a credit card balance, then you're going to pay that forever. Okay, so you want to make sure you avoid that at all costs. The third kind is borrowing money to invest. So let's say obviously you want to get into the stock market, and you're borrowing money in order to invest in the stock market. That is very risky. Most people don't do it that way. You either have the cash to invest or you don't. If you're someone that's borrowing money, whether it's through a loan or a credit card, so you can buy some stocks, that's probably not the smartest thing to do, and a lot of people wouldn't recommend that. So yeah, if you're borrowing money to invest in stocks, I'd focus on paying off debt first, and then creating cash, and then taking that cash and investing it yourself. So you want to take that money that you do have and make sure that thing is growing. You don't want to borrow money from someone else and then make it grow, unless you're getting a higher return percentage wise in your stock or whatever asset that you're using than how much your loan costs, whatever the interest rate on your loan is. But that's still risky, because there's no guarantee that you make money in any financial asset vehicle that you get into, whether it's real estate or stocks. So I wouldn't recommend borrowing money to invest. I'd recommend that you actually save up the cash and then invest it that way. So those are the three things: good debt versus bad debt. Hopefully you learned something from this. If you have any questions, make sure to comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and see you on the next one. All right, have a good one. Later.